We are back off of a cocaine bear high, and we would like to welcome you to Popcorn and Beers, where some use tomatoes and others use thumbs. We, of course, use the stuff that gets you drunk. Welcome in, everybody. As always, we are joined by Jordan.
Hey there.
And Josh.
Well, hi.
Well, in movies, I got to be on an airplane this week, right? So that's always my time when I'm going to watch more movies than TV shows. And I know I review, like Josh likes to say, any gut-wrenchingly depressing documentaries that you watched this week. No, not this week. I did not actually. But I do have the most movies, it looks like, out of the crew. So if you guys have no issue, I'll just start with what we're watching this week. This one, like Josh, even after his review warning us all to stay away, I watched We Had a Ghost. And my review, it was interesting because usually I'm writing notes and things to talk about, and I'm not as dedicated to the critique as Jordan is as far as the critique style. But I do keep notes of things I watch, and I do want to talk about certain aspects of films. This one, I'm looking at my note right now, and it just says bad.
Bad, dude. It's like how I started my review. It's just bad, dude.
I just wrote bad. And in the middle of the movie, I text Josh, in what hell is there any reason for this movie to be 2 hours and 6 minutes long? And that brings me to my point really quick. This is my little sidetrack. This is my little soapbox. Stop making movies that are 2.5 hours long. Just like I'm irritated with documentaries. Not every documentary has to be 8 episodes. All right? Yeah. Clean cut. Boom. Tell me what happened. Get in and out. But I'd rather an hour-and-a-half documentary than an 8-episode documentary because I get bored. Because a lot of this shit's unnecessary.
Totally.
Go ahead, Josh. Totally.
Oh, no, same thing. I mean, just because we're getting in the habits of like the MCUs and the gangster flicks, etc. Like those, if it's a great story, it can be 3 hours. But you're making a stupid kid movie about Casper, the friendly middle-aged man. That's an hour and a half, dog. 91 minutes at best. Come on,
tops. Right? And I was telling these guys before the show in our production meeting that I love Scorsese. I love him. He's one of my favorite directors ever. But this whole I don't want to edit anything for anybody and Killers of the Flower Moon is about to be 4 hours long. No, bro, you're making a mini series, Martin. You should be nominated at the Emmys, not the Oscars. All right? 4 hours is a mini series. Yeah, no, and he consults on all kinds of things. I will tell you what was kind of interesting. Did you guys know that Scorsese was a consultant on Joaquin Phoenix's The Joker?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I found that pretty fascinating.
First note, make it longer.
Don't edit a single thing.
I want him dancing down every goddamn step. This is not how he sounds. Why am I doing that voice?
It doesn't look like he's consulting on the sequel though, because that looks not good from just the screenshots I've seen. I'm gonna watch it. I know.
Like,
I know, dude. But I think. But if you tell me something if I had the chance, I would have saw the Spider-Man Broadway show because that's like this could be dog shit. You know what I mean? I can't wait to see the garbage part that's gonna happen. Or maybe it's great.
I don't know who watched the first one and was like, you know what this needs? Lady Gaga and singing.
Yeah.
Through the whole thing.
And it's supposed to be like Arkham Asylum, kind of? Like and they could have made such a cool movie. Yeah, they could have made such a cool Arkham Asylum movie. Because I don't think there's been like a live action Batman movie that focuses on Arkham Asylum.
How
and like
cool
this is going to be our introduction to it.
Yeah,
this is going to be our introduction. A musical. Ridiculous.
Oh my god, Arkham Asylum, right? You can just call it Arkham Asylum: The Killers, and just leave it.
Oh boy. But if they made a movie about the game even would be incredible, because you see Batman in this enclosed environment where usually they have to incorporate a lot of flying around the city, which is also cool. Batmobile stuff. Yeah.
They did. Like, they literally have a Batman Arkham Asylum game.
No, yeah, if they made a movie about the game.
Gotcha.
Like him in that enclosed space being Batman, that would be so cool. Because the game was so cool, obviously. Anyway, sorry about that.
Tangent. That's our tangent here. Some of your movies, they just edit them, okay? Not every scene is integral to the movie, which brings me to my next review. I saw Pinocchio.
What's your rating?
Gonna win. Sorry. Oh, I apologize. No, you're right, Josh. I apologize. My mistake. It's 0, 1 kernel.
One kernel,
kernel of popcorn.
Just the bits.
And not the good kernel, the brown kernel that no one wants because it tastes different. That one.
The tooth tipper. The tooth tipper.
You stuck your popcorn bag in the microwave, and the microwave blew up.
So anyway, my next review, I saw Pinocchio. I needed to see it because it will be the Oscar winner for Best Animated Feature, right? It's the claymation stop-motion animation
cool.
by Guillermo. And he's one of my favorite directors of all time, right? I watched his Cabinet of Curiosities. I thought that was fun. Some silly, some good, some scary. It was fun, right?
I love that, yeah.
Yeah, it was good. And then Cabinet of Curiosities, then Pinocchio. And it's a lot darker. It's super dark. And it's a super, it starts off with what I was saying, like Disney movies need to open with a kill scene like they used to. This does open with a kill scene. There's a lot of drunken sadness in this movie, in this animated feature. There's a lot of Nazis in Italy, and it provides a different method of fighting fascism, if you will, with Pinocchio. It shows how it digs into how the Nazis wanted to try to find immortality to fight the war.
Wow.
You have to be really paying attention to pick up on all these narratives, right?
That sounds like a great TV show, Fighting Nazis with Pinocchio.
Yeah, and it's not the thing. Here's the thing. Pinocchio joins the Nazis, the fascists.
Oh, God.
Are you making this
but he's supposed to. No.
What is happening right now? What is happening right now? Seriously?
The whole concept is he doesn't have a brain. So he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know right from wrong. He becomes a real boy in the midst of everything. And then in this movie, a Nazi finds out, like an Italian Nazi finds out, because it's the Italians, right? Pinocchio, Italian. There's all kinds of tributes to Mussolini in it, which was wild. But at the end, he makes fun of Mussolini and how he's shit and how Mussolini's just a big poop. It's a song in the movie. Is that Mussolini is just a big poop? Dude. It's Pinocchio, yeah. It's everyone dies. I'm gonna spoiler alert. Everyone dies in this movie, legitimately, except for Pinocchio, and it's super sad because it's like a slow motion. You watch just everyone die in the movie at the end. So sorry, spoiler alert. If you're attached to any of the characters, everyone dies. It will
if you
win
still want
the
to
Oscar.
see this movie after that explanation, kudos to you. I mean, now I have to see it because it sounds incredibly. But I don't know.
I'm sorry. I said Pinocchio doesn't die. I lied to you. Pinocchio dies repeatedly, but he's immortal. So I lied. Yeah, he actually dies over and over and over and over again, and talks to death. In certain scenes about life and how he could change life and how he discovers that the Nazis are taking advantage of him because he's immortal. Christoph Waltz plays the carnival director that kidnaps Pinocchio and tricks him into a contract. Very much Tom Cruise's character, the Colonel in Elvis, as he robs Geppetto and Pinocchio of their earnings that Pinocchio actually brings in. No. The same character. Tom Hanks' character from Elvis, the Colonel.
Cruise. Yeah, you said Tom Cruise. Yeah.
That would
Tom
be
Cruise
great. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
replace Tom Hanks with Tom Cruise and Elvis? Wow. Anyways. So anyway, sorry. I gave it. It was still an interesting movie after all of that. I gave it a popcorn and a beer.
Interesting. Popcorn and a
beer. But it was. I put the note. I put it could do without the songs. I mean, it might win or be nominated for a best original song. I haven't looked at the best original songs this year yet. I should, because Oscars are in 7 days. But I actually need to get to the movies this week and go see like The Whale and Babylon. But yeah, I just literally 10-second skip song, 10-second skip, because it didn't add anything to the story. Like there's no reason for the song. Like you're stopping to sing a song in the middle of the movie, and they're not necessarily good. They're just like those la 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 la, like right in the middle of the movie. You're like, I don't need this. Oh yeah, lots of kids die in this movie. Like there's lots of kids dying. And again, I'm being completely honest. So if that's something that's going to get to you, every child in the movie except for the children in Pinocchio's town, but one of them dies. They all die.
So this is an animated movie, not for children. Really?
No, it's PG.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think right. I mean. Yeah, look it up. I mean, if you guys want to look up the rating, because I think I deleted it off my Netflix list for Pinocchio. I think it's PG, not more than PG-13. Yeah.
Wow, man.
But I forgot about that. I was sitting here thinking about it. I was like, actually, you know what? Yeah, like all the kids actually get killed in this movie, except for like the carnival kids.
In this movie's defense, though, do you remember the cartoon that was rated G that had a really heavy unresolved child trafficking ring?
Yeah.
That we were introduced to
as 3-year-olds?
Pinocchio.
Oh, yeah, you're right. No, yeah.
The kids are turned into donkeys and sold after being stolen. Like,
yeah.
Remember when the kid turned into a donkey? That scene?
Yeah.
That was horrifying. Horrifying.
Really
so maybe Pinocchio is
really
just kind of a fucked up story. You know, it's not really Guillermo's fault. He probably was being more tame than the actual book was or something.
I don't know. Maybe. Did you guys catch the live action one with Tom Hanks as Geppetto? Oh
I stopped watching it halfway through. I was like, I can't do this. Yeah, I was like, I can't do it anymore. How was that?
I don't like Pinocchio for reasons like what Josh was describing. I don't really like the story, the movie, any of that. But I found it made it cutesy enough for me to like not be so disturbed by the story to actually just get through the movie. So it was okay. I didn't hate it.
Okay.
That bad. Yeah.
But
Tom Hanks as Geppetto was really something. Pinocchio on the ball.
You should watch it. Guillermo is still a great director. You can't really take much away from it except for it's just a crazy movie that's going to win Best Animated Feature. So he'll have 2 Oscars now. He'll have Lady in the Water, and he'll have not Lady in the Water. Pardon me. Shape of Water. The Shape of Water. And Pinocchio. Which is hold on. Does this guy just win Oscars for weird movies? Because she has sex with a sea monster in the
He's
water.
made a career off weird movies.
That's all Guillermo does.
That's his thing.
Pan's Labyrinth, Hellboy 2 was weird.
Oh, Pan's Labyrinth is one of my favorite movies of all time.
I've never seen it.
So weird. Oh, you got to see it, Jordan. You got to see it.
Yeah.
You must see that movie.
Fantastic. He's a great director.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just thinking about Shape of Water. She has sex with a sea monster. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Yeah. The last movie I saw was, I didn't mean for that to happen, Fall. Right? Fall is available on Netflix here. By the way, every movie so far I've reviewed is available on Netflix. Fall is a movie that stars 2 women that are famous climbers. And spoiler alert, it starts off exactly the same as Vertical Limit. Exactly the same, except for the snow. It's no. Actually, you know what? They're climbing on a mountain in the desert there too. Exactly the same, right? So insert unnecessary love story when I could have just done a movie with 2 badass women that climbed up mountains. Instead, I've got to have some idiot and some dumb love story that's for no reason. There was no need for it. They use it as the trope to keep the movie going, but they didn't need that. They already had a great storyline with these two badass women that climb mountains. That's all I needed, and I was in. So they continue on. The director thinks he's creative and fancy, and really he's just bad. All the twists you see coming a mile away, you're just like, yep, okay, saw that one coming. Yep, okay, yep, knew that was going to happen. And it asks the question, what if you climb to the top of the world, 2,000 feet into the air, and the worst thing that can happen happens? And then all of a sudden you lose all common sense and any ability to make a creative or correct decision. That's that, and I'm just gonna tell you guys right now. There is a scene where one of the ladies has to climb down to retrieve water, and the rope is hanging over here, but it's tied to a pole. So in my head, I'm just like, just move the rope, and she can reach it. If you just move it a little bit, and it's still tied to that pole, and now she can reach it because it's a pole. And instead of doing this obvious thing. She's like, I'm going to jump for it. And I'm thinking, but why? Just have her move the rope to you.
Why?
So I was just kind of like, man, this is not good. So again, just the popcorn there. I was really excited about it. I was very sad. The twists are just silly things happening. And at the end of the day, it was just a bad movie. I see why no one went and saw it. I see why it took forever to get to a streaming platform. Yeah. It wasn't good, just the popcorn. So, on to Josh. What were you watching this week?
Hi, hello. I only watched one this week, but it was worth watching, and you should too. I watched Speed Racer, a classic by the Wachowskis. It's a phenomenal film. It was a box office flop. It made less than half of what it cost to make it. But it's one of those things where, oh no, everyone's wrong but me. I loved it from the first 30 seconds of watching it when I first saw it. I saw it in theaters. And no one else liked it. Everyone's like, well, wasn't that trash? What are you guys talking about? All right, let's get into it. It's the reason a lot of people didn't like it, perhaps. It was very jarring. It had incredible, way ahead of its time, quick cuts. Like industry-changing stuff like the Wachowskis tend to do with Matrix and whatever. They come up with new stuff. I said Ant-Man 3 was Spy Kids 9. This is Spy Kids 6. So that's a problem for a lot of people. The entire movie was shot on green screen. It's or whatever they use. You know, it's not green screen anymore all the time. But the whole movie, I'm sure the space to act in was less than a 15 by 15 room. Because everything was green screen, except for like when they're sitting in the car of Speed Racer. But, I mean, it's one of those kind of suspension of disbelief things. After a while, you stop noticing that they're sitting in front of a screen. Because the backgrounds, every single shot is absolutely immaculately designed. And it's like the high hue, really popping. The camera cuts and the camera views and motions match the intense vibrance of every scene, every frame. Really funny bits. It had incredible retro / futuristic vibe. Like they mixed the two. I don't know. The Wachowskis, they have this bad luck with making something incredible that no one likes. They got lucky with Matrix. But Cloud Atlas was also a flop. I love Cloud Atlas. Sense8 was canceled. There was like a worldwide protest to bring it back. Netflix should have listened. It was millions of people. But Netflix just said, nah, no money in it, whatever. And the Wachowskis have been on...
I actually know about that, but I'm going to let you finish. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, that's all I have to say about that. So if you want to jump in, feel free. But
and that's all I got to say about that.
Well, just to finish on Speed Racer briefly, it was perfectly casted. Like, where did Emil Hirsch go? He was incredible. Maybe because Speed Racer was such a flop, he didn't get any work after that. The exposition.
I love Into the Wild, man.
They shove it in like a knife. Into the Wild?
Love Into the Wild.
What about Alpha Dogs, bud? Camera
Alpha
game
Dogs
characters.
and Dogs of Lordtown.
Yeah, Lords of Dogtown.
Lords of Dogtown.
That's about all for the review. It's just I love Speed Racer. I've seen it more than most movies in my life, over and over. And I give it a popcorn.
So rated? I totally disagree, but it is visually beautiful. I will say that. We're all pissed at Netflix for canceling shows and monopolizing our thoughts and our likes and our desires. So what should we do to them, Jordan?
Cancel them.
No, do revenge. What? Do revenge.
That was
such a good setup.
Yeah, the softball, yeah. Yeah.
It's early.
I thought at first I was like, kill them, but I was like, no, it's not appropriate.
They cancel our shows, they will die.
Yeah. That's like a terroristic threat. Not good. Okay, yes, no, you're right. Rewind. Yes, no. Do revenge to them. Which is the one movie I managed to watch this week. It's a Gen Z preppy teen revenge movie, almost exactly like Mean Girls, with a slight twist where because there's two girls coming from different social spheres to torment each other's enemies.
Oh.
Okay. And that, yeah, it's a little Shakespearean in that plot, you know, it's got some layers to it. Maya Hawke from Stranger Things, also the child of Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke. She's great. She's the star of it. A lot of people don't know that she is a Nepo baby, which is a hot topic in the gossip.
Jamie Lee Curtis shouted it out at the BAFTAs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's a Nepo baby. Yeah.
The other main girl, I don't know her name, but she played her role very well in it as kind of the ice queen who falls from grace and kind of, you know, gets really bitter and crazy and goes after people. Sarah Michelle Gellar has a bit part as the school dean. Very, very small part, like, I don't know, maybe 10 lines. And she's off. Like, no, she's good, but her character is awful.
Gotcha. Let Buffy cook. Let Buffy cook.
Yeah. I think they maybe need a little more of her in it.
Okay.
It's been a good thing. Sophie Turner-Jonas from Game of Thrones.
Ooh, Jean Grey.
And also Jean Grey. Yeah, Jean Grey. She has a very, very small role, but she is super funny. She probably has less dialogue than Sarah Michelle Gellar in this movie, but she steals every scene. She's hilarious in this movie. I wanted to turn it off about 10 minutes into it because the dialogue was just so vomitous, so Gen Z, so like rich, snobby, like, God, I don't relate to anything, like not a single word these people are talking about. But I hung in it there for y'all because I'm like, we need more of this type of content for the podcast. It's like, okay, so I hung in there and I actually started to like it. Like, it started to turn for me very, very slowly. I was like, okay. And I got through it. One of the things I like about this movie was Maya Hawke's character has a bearded dragon and she named it, this is the whole name, Oscar winner Olivia Colman. Her bearded dragon in it. And I had to Google who Olivia Colman is, and that made it even funnier. It's like, okay, this is good. It's because it reminds me.
Love You Man.
Go ahead. Oh, yeah. Anwar Sadat.
Yeah.
Because he looks like Anwar Sadat. It reminds me of a friend I have who has a bearded dragon named RoboCop. So shout out to her. You know who you are if you ever watch this. It had all the cliches of this, you know, teenage high school revenge drama movie trope, you know, but it really got next level twisted and had some layers to it that I wasn't expecting. And like I said, I got really sucked into it. High schools, I'll just say overall about it, high school sucks. Bullying is not glamorous, and it's a terrible, horrible thing.
Yes.
Don't bully people.
No.
Make amends. If you've been a bully, make amends to people. Maybe not. Maybe don't. Depends how bad you were. You know what I mean? Because you don't know how people carry that stuff with them, and you never know how you could really help somebody out by doing that.
Yeah.
You know, I've had people be mean to me, and then I've been mean to people. The whole hurt people thing.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Hurt people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Self-examine.
Don't bully people. It's not. That's kind of what I walked away feeling from this movie was like, and
okay,
high school and kids are cruel and it sucks. So that's my
nice dude.
That's my thing. Yeah, popcorn.
Just the popcorn.
If you're a young girl, teenage, this is like kind of you'll really like this movie. It wasn't my thing, but yeah.
So if you don't hate your uncle, right? If you don't hate your uncle, I know we got into an argument over that trash bag of a man, Andrew Tate. You would love this movie.
Trash bag man. Speaking of, look at Andrew Tate and tell me he didn't get bullied a lot, and that's why the way he is. He looks like he got punched a lot when he was a kid.
Yeah,
because he didn't know how to shut the up.
Anyway.
All right, so a popcorn on that. So the butter on top was, the drunk classic was my pick this week. I'm just gonna get right into it really quickly. Beverly Hills Cop, right? And another, what is it? Family Guy. And another. That's what I kept thinking every time it was on.
Who has a more iconic laugh? Eddie Murphy's old laugh or Seth Rogen?
Eddie Murphy's still got it, Seth Rogen's up there.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on the era, I think. Back then, I literally was longing for his laugh, and you'll hear that in my review. So first I put classic 80s cast. Paul Reiser, Judge Reinhold, Eddie Murphy, John Ashton, the dude from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, Jonathan Banks. Yeah, so I was like, that's the first note. Classic 80s cast. Great 80s soundtrack. Great 80s soundtrack, as you heard us all just making fun of. And then you had your montage open. Classic Eddie Murphy laugh, and I couldn't help but miss it. Like, as I watched, I was like, why did he get rid of that laugh? Like, who gave him bad advice? I loved that. He said, damn, that's an expensive hotel at $235 a night, which is what I pay for most hotels I stay in. And I was like, the world has changed, right? That hotel room is probably $1,000 a night. And by the way, not to get political, but wages have not gone up that high.
It's not political.
Go there.
So, they threw him through their own window was one of my notes. I was like, they opened that window. They threw him out of their own window.
That's so funny.
I started laughing. I was like, wait a second. You own this building. And no one checks bags anymore. Like, the bags are just go unchecked everywhere. Like, customs apparently wasn't checking boxes or bags. Just everything just got right through. So I put, like, no one checks bags in the 80s. Everything just got right through.
I have something about the window thing that I'm going to connect to Creed because I like how they throw him through the window and immediately the cops are there.
Yeah.
As he's being thrown through the window, woo! The cop car coming around, and that is something that also happens in Creed that I'll talk about when we get there. Go ahead.
Well, just about the glass thing, how funny that was. I also thought about how it was like 6 guys carrying him out, right? And these 6 guys have walked by that glass door every day, and when they did the deed, they never said a word. They had this planned out. Like, hey guys, next time we get somebody we got to throw out. Remember that glass door? I fucking hate that thing. Yeah, that was a coordinated effort, dog.
So for me, that's my review. Please rewatch Beverly Hills Cop. I thought it was amazing. A popcorn, 2 beers for me, right? But the nostalgia, the cop cars, his little blue Chevy, like all of it. No, in Los Angeles, we just get in whatever car is closest.
Yeah. Grand Theft Auto.
So, yeah, check it out. A popcorn, 2 beers from me.
About the car thing, just have you ever driven a Mercedes?
Mercedes,
have you ever driven a Mercedes? No, let me drive. And then she like proceeds to just viciously whip it around. So I'll be honest. I'm embarrassed to say that I've never seen this movie. I've only seen a couple of scenes. I've seen the very end for some reason. I don't know how. I saw like the whole gunfight at the end at the mansion. I've seen and I've only seen that in like the banana tailpipe scene. I've seen that in like a montage of best like comedic movie scenes kind of deal.
Yeah. Wasn't that on Family Guy too? They just stuck it up everyone's pipes like all the time. In a whole montage, like just shoving bananas up everyone's pipes.
Probably. But see, I've never seen this movie, but I have always known the iconic synth track from it. Mm-hmm. Boop, boop,
boop, everywhere, boop, dog. Boop, everywhere.
Boop, yeah. Everybody knows that song.
Yep.
Some of the dialogue is really corny, like with the police chief in the beginning, that movie trope, the angry black police chief.
Oh, my done got chewed off already. Yeah.
It reminded me of Ice Cube in the 21 Jump Street reboot. He's like, yes, I'm angry. Or no, he's like, yes, I'm black. And sometimes I get angry. So it's hilarious. Some of the dialogue is hilarious when I feel like it's not explicitly trying to be, or it is. I don't know. Like the Serge at the gallery.
Oh, yeah.
The whole dialogue scene. I don't know if that's trying to be funny. Yeah, that is so funny.
Oh, don't be stupid. It's no work.
Serge is a classic character. Iconic.
That guy was so funny.
Yeah.
And then Damon Wayans as the random effeminate buffet banana guy.
You take these bananas.
It's a perfect character. You know what I mean?
It's not so random.
It's not supposed to be a joke, but just the way they play it is just funny and adorable.
And I was like, when is he? I was like, I hope he's coming back in the movie, but that's literally it. Yeah. That's his whole part of the movie. I was
just take these bananas.
Just take these bananas.
I like when the two cops are staking out, and he's telling him about, you have 5 pounds of undigested red meat in your diet. He's like, why are you telling this? What makes you think I have any interest in this at all? Like. I love that whole exchange.
You shouldn't drink so much coffee. Why?
Yeah.
Lately.
And my other thing is, what's with the movie trope in any cop movie with the chief that doesn't seem to want any crimes to be solved?
Yeah.
Like everything. Yeah. Stop right there. Just stop what you're doing. Leave it alone. Leave it alone every time. It's like that cop movie trope really annoys the hell out of me.
That can be, just because you're trouble. Riggs, you're trouble again.
I give this a popcorn and 2 beers.
Popcorn and 2 beers.
Yeah.
All right, Josh.
I love this movie. It's been a while since I've seen the first one, but I have seen it before. I saw 2 the least amount of times in my life. But I've seen Beverly Hills Cop 3 5 billion times because I had that free cable box when we were kids in the 90s. You slip the guy $50 or whatever, and you get the free cable. So pay-per-view for a month, that was always on. So I watched Beverly Hills Cop 3 a lot. So my perception of Axel Foley is the Beverly Hills Cop 3 Foley. Then we went back and saw the first one, and I forgot how reasonable of a cop Axel Foley is. Like if you think about it,
like big character evolution.
He got more cartoony. You know what I mean? He got more. He got more off the rails and like more hijinks and stuff. They just upped it every time. It wasn't bad. It's just different. And then if you look compare Axel Foley from Beverly Hills Cop 1 to most renegade cops that are on TV or in movies today, like Bad Boys 3, for instance. they are criminals. They blow up yachts. You know, they're terrorists, and they're just like beat cops or detectives. Whereas Axel Foley, like, he does some undercover work, and it goes haywire in the beginning of the movie, and it's not really his fault. It just so happens that he was working a job there, and he's getting slung around in the back of a truck, and he almost loses his job over it. He was just working a job. It's nothing to do with him. But then, anyway, when it comes down to, like, hey, you're caught, dude. Axel Foley, the character, Eddie Murphy, he acts so cool, but he's very professional. Like, he's talking reasonable to all these cops when he goes to Beverly Hills and they lock him up. And then I was surprised by just the cops being reasonable as well. Maybe that's a propaganda technique from the 80s. Like, we're good cops around here. You know what I mean? But
propaganda.
Yeah, propaganda. Maybe, probably. But it's usually when the outsider comes in the cop film, all the other cops, like, throw tomatoes at him and, like, you know, slash his tires. Like, they do everything they can to mess him up. Whereas in this movie, they're just doing their job, and it's all pretty straight down the line. And then Axel Foley is, like, a great detective, like a good old Maltese Falcon from Detroit, you know? Anyway, great movie, good soundtrack. The soundtrack, brief story, I had a friend who went to the Philippines, and he went to the dance club, and they still play that in the Philippines, the Beverly Hills Cops. That's like great. Jam. That's awesome. Where, like, everyone guts on the floor for that song. That's the jam down there still. Yeah, popcorn, I say 2 beers. Actually, popcorn and 3 beers. I think it's a timeless film. It's not just one of those time capsule movies where you get a glimpse of it, of the 90s, like its speed. Like, it's a good film, and I don't think it'll ever age out. So popcorn and 3.
I will tell you, Creed 3 is a blend of Rocky 3 and Rocky 5, where you get the payoff you always wanted in Rocky 5. This time, Rocky actually boxes Tommy the Machine Gun. And when I say that, I mean you actually get to see Adonis Creed box Diamond. All right? So the fight scenes were great. I agree with what Josh is going to say before he even says it. I already know he's going to talk about the motivation behind them. And you know what, Josh? You thought I was going to argue with you? No, I thought it made it better. I thought that inspiration made the fight scenes better. I enjoyed them quite a bit. I enjoy the sneak montage fight scene that occurs. I'm not going to say when. I'm not going to say what. But I thought that was a piece of art. I actually shushed the 2 people talking behind me because even though there's no dialogue, I just wanted to be in that moment and I needed them to shut up. I will say we did not get enough Jonathan Majors in this film. I wanted more, and my note is I wanted more Jonathan Majors, and I said we've got a future Oscar winner on our hands with Jonathan Majors. He is an amazing actor to go from Kang last week to Diamond this week. And I said, this movie's going to have a lot of people wanting to go to the gym and work out. Onto you guys.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, as referring to what Fry said, in some interviews and stuff, Michael B. Jordan, I guess, had some influence on what he wanted for the movie, what he wanted for the fight scenes. I'm not sure if he produced it or what exactly happened, but he had some influence. And he took a lot of his influence for the fight choreography and cinematography from anime. Specifically Dragon Ball, and then there's like 2 or 3 actual boxing animes that he looked at, and you can see that throughout the movie in bits and pieces that, like, actual shots were stolen from manga, like, in a good way, like in an homage way. They did some stuff with the lighting. Like you said, there's a montage scene that's incredible. The fight scenes were such good storytelling engines in this movie, and that's something that's lacking in a lot of fight movies. And sometimes sports movies. They just show the football player playing football. Like, use the football plays as a storytelling device. Like, they nailed it in that way. I say the Michael B. Jordan did a great job. Good end to the series, I hope. Let's say that. Story overall good. Majors is a criminal. He's stealing that camera nonstop. No matter what he does, he steals the camera. Monstrous. Great film. I said it was a great film. I give it a popcorn and 2 beers.
I was a popcorn and 2 beers as well. I apologize. Popcorn and 2 beers. Go ahead, Jordan.
Time we bring up Creed, a white man want to pull Rocky Balboa out. Rocky Balboa ain't little compared to Joe Louis. Rocky Balboa ain't nothing. I asked Frank Sinatra, I hang out with Joe Louis all the time. Between me and you, how old Joe Louis? He said, 137 years old. 137 years old. I had to do it. Oh man. So I feel like he should have fought Clubber Lang's son in this one, so we could just Adonis Creed should just fight the sons, grandsons, nephews of all of Rocky's nemesises. I could write the next 2 Creed movies, honestly, where he fights, you know?
Yeah.
And I could see where they could keep it going, with like Adonis coaching his daughter through Gold Gloves, female Gold Gloves, and him, coaching Jonathan Majors' character. I don't want to give anything away, but that doesn't really, they don't lead to that. I'm not spoiling anything there, but I can see them going in that direction. I could see that going that direction. Heavyweight champ? ? Heavyweight? Maybe Drago, but Creed, Dame, and Chavez, they're like 6 foot. Deontay Wilder is 6'7". Tyson Fury is 6'9". Anthony Joshua is like 6'6".
Yes, they have muscles. Like they're defined, but at the same time, look at them like they're maybe a $175.
Yeah, like I'm like, there's no way there's no way that they would fight in the heavyweight.
Yeah,
just saying that kind of took me out of it being like into combat sport, boxing, MMA, and all that. I was like, no, that's not realistic. I love Wood Harris. I love Wood Harris as what's his name? Duke,
yeah.
Lil Duke. I noticed no Max Kellerman in this one. They replaced him with Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
So that's got a sting. That's a sick burn on Max Kellerman, I think. That's probably in his craw a bit. The soundtrack is great. Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut. He crushed it and made it so unique and artistic that a lot of the Rocky universe cliche, it's not noticeable. Like because he puts it in there for the Rocky fans, but it's not. You don't. Oh,
it's definitely his own movie. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
good point.
Yeah. Up until a point, I found myself agreeing with Dame. In the movie, up until he got really like, okay, yeah, you're being a dick. Sorry,
absolutely.
Bleep that.
Yeah.
And it was funny coming out of the movie after it ended. Everyone watching all the dudes walk out of the theater with ILS, imaginary lat syndrome.
Yeah,
kind of walking with their chest puffed out. And their chest puffed out, and their bellies tucked in. I wrote that too in my notes.
Suck it up, buddy.
And it was funny. The whole movie, there's a guy behind me, and every time like a punch was being thrown, he's like, I could hear him. It was almost like he was shadow boxing behind me. He's like, oof, hell yeah, and I was like, dude, I had to I got up and went to the bathroom so that I could come back and sit further away from him.
Yeah, I feel you.
So I guess the kind of scuttle around this movie and the interviews and stuff is that Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors want to pair up like a De Niro and Pacino and do a lot of projects together and kind of be this tandem.
I'm in for that.
Yeah, that cool. Sounds awesome. Need more of that. In your opinion, real quickly, what's your favorite Rocky movie? What do you think is the best Rocky movie? I say 4. It's one of the lowest reviewed ones from Rotten Tomatoes, but I think 4 is the most iconic one. I think this is better than that. This is better than Rocky 4, which is my favorite, but it's subjective. Whatever your favorite is, I think it's better than that too. I'll just tell you. I give this a pop 3. I love the Rocky franchise, and I think this is the best installment of any Rocky or Creed. Top 3.
Lots of Mike Tyson influence in Jonathan Major's character, by the way.
Yeah.
Lots of Mike Tyson.
Very much.
Got a head like a bulldog.
Yeah. From the trunks, everything. The way he walked out with just the sweater over the top. So,
yep, exactly.
Yeah. I don't want to go too far in the interest of time. I will just say, for me, it's a spectrum. It just depends on what mood I'm in. It's probably somewhere between Rocky 3 and Rocky 4, but I did love Creed, the initial Creed. So go ahead, Josh.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them all, unfortunately. I've seen bits of all of them. This is the best Creed movie by far. And It's not better than Rocky 1, dog. Rocky 1 was good.
There you go. Well, won an Oscar, so go ahead, Jordan.
This was a movie where I walked out and I got to my car and I texted every bro I know, like, dude, you have to see this movie.
Yeah.
Go watch this movie.
It's good.
Yeah.
A lot of
it was good. It was a good movie.
Man type of things. Anyway.
So Josh, you have the Drunk Classic next week. What are we watching?
Oh, yes. I'm not doing this on purpose. It just so happens that most of my favorite movies of all time are strange. We're going to watch The Grand Budapest Hotel. Another Jude Law.
I love that movie.
Cool. I've never seen it, but I really have wanted to see it. Like, it's been on the cusp. It's on my list, but it's been on the cusp of, like, I'm going to pull the trigger and watch this. So
I can't wait till you see it. It's on Habo. A little bit of Jude Law, but not too much. Yeah, can't wait.
Okay.
Do you want to say that in English so we all know where it's at?
HBO. Why do we have to tell them? They have Google too.
Home box office.
If you're in England, it is also available on Disney Plus. And Josh and I are going to be watching Scream 6 this week for everybody, so we will let you know how that goes. Thank you so much for joining us this week. And as always, we'll see you at the movies. You bring the popcorn and we'll bring the beer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.